and all those memories will be lost in time, like tears in rain. Hello everybody, my name is Nate, and welcome back to hashtag Nate on Netflix. Or if you're just joining me, welcome. Let's get this party started. Now we're going to do today Luke Cage and Iron Fist with a kind of hero for hire symbiosis. So first up, let's get into Luke Cage, played by Michael Colter. He was the perfect Luke Cage. This guy is a phenomenal actor. Plus, he just oozes charisma. You know, he's the kind of guy that if you're a dude, you want to hang out with him. And if you're a girl, you probably want a piece of that action. Now, Luke Cage is a guy who was wrongly sent to prison. In prison, he was subjected to experiments that made his skin bulletproof, and he had enormous strength. But to hurt Luke Cage, they had the Superman complex. How do you make a character who is impervious and make the audience feel for him? Well, it's the supporting cast around him, and they did an excellent job with the supporting cast. Like, for example, the actress that played Misty Knight, Simone Biles. She was Misty Knight in a nutshell. She was probably better than Misty Knight is in the comic books, and I can't wait for her to get her bionic arm and team up with Colleen Wynn. We're getting ahead of ourselves. The other supporting cast around them is, of course, the night nurse, Claire Temple. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to give Claire Temple a video all of her own, because she's the Nick Fury of the TV MCU. She's that one character that weaves through all the other ones. And not to mention the villains. Mahershala Ali as Cottonmouth. He was to Cottonmouth was Vincent D'Onofrio was to the Kingpin. He was awesome. You can see why he won an Oscar, because he is an Oscar caliber actor. Also, Oscar caliber actor speaking, Alfre Woodard as Black Mariah. That one was nuts, but she was very calm and collected, but when she get crazy, she got crazy. But the show itself was excellent. I only have two major problems with the show. One, they used the N-word way too many times in the show. Yes, I know it's a show that's set in Harlem with a black cast, but must you use the N-word every 15 seconds? Personally, for me, I don't like it when we use the N-word, period. I don't think we should be using it to describe each other, to be talking about each other as friendships, or when we get mad. It's just a word that shouldn't be used because of its origin. And I don't buy all that reclaiming the word crap. No, we shouldn't be using it, personally. And I like the fact that Luke Cage didn't use it, and then they had him lose his temper and used it. Everybody else around him was using it, but he didn't use it until he lost his temper, and then he started using it. It kind of sapped the strength from his stance on using the word that I actually agree with. But enough of me on my soapbox. The second thing I had a problem with was changing his villain near the end, the Diamondback. Not that I had anything against the actor, it's just that it totally changed the tone of the show when they introduced Diamondback. And that's why at the end it ended a little bit weaker than it started. That's what I had to say. Now, we move on to Iron Fist. Now, Iron Fist, you probably saw online and everywhere else that it got a lot of negative reviews. Now, the show isn't as bad as a lot of people were saying. It does have its problems. Its biggest problem is Finn Jones. Finn Jones is not an actor who can carry a show himself. Vince Jones is a supporting actor. He can work in an ensemble. He's not the star. When I was watching Iron Fist, I was more interested in the other characters around Danny Rand than Danny Rand. And even the creators of the show felt the same way. That's why we focus way too much on the Meachums. The Meachums was the family who took over Danny Rand's family's business when they crashed, the plane crash going to Kunlun. And Danny was the only survivor, raised and trained and become the immortal Iron Fist. But the show focused way too much on the Meachums. Danny was hardly ever in episodes at sometimes. It was ridiculous how much. And that's because even the people who made the show knew that Vin Jones couldn't carry the way this show. Colleen Wynn, the actress who played Colleen Wynn, I do believe her name is, let me look this up, Jessica Henwick. She was way more interesting and compelling than Iron Fist. And he's the star. I was more interested in seeing her fight scenes. I'm more interested in her background. I was more interested in seeing her on the screen than the star. That's ridiculous. So the biggest problem with that show was, one, the writing when they came to keep on focusing on the Meachums and the Rand corporations. I felt like it was totally misled because before the show was aired, they said a throwback to the old kung fu martial art movies of the 70s. No, not at all. It was more like a little bit of kung fu meets Dallas or Dynasty. It was ridiculous how much they focused on the Meachums. But some of the fight scenes in this show were done very well. When they actually got the ball rolling with some of the action, when they started dealing more into the mystical side of Danny Rand being an Iron Fist, yes, it was well. When they started talking about the different factions of the Hand, that was good. But they still were focused too much on the Meachums. So, my final thought. Luke Cage, I give it a like. Like I said, it had some problems, but I give it a like. And for Iron Fist, I think from what I've seen in the trailers they showed for the Defenders, I think that Danny Rand will work better with everybody else, not just on his own. So in the Defenders lineup with Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Danny Rand, I think he'll work better. Even in the commercials, he looks like he works better within that group, which I suggest to Netflix. No season 2 on Luke Cage and no season 2 on Iron Fist. The next show you should make should be Heroes for Hire. Go from the Defenders to Hero for Hire. No second season of Luke Cage and no second season of Iron Fist. Put them together because Danny Rand needs Luke Cage. Luke Cage really don't need Danny Rand, but Danny Rand needs Luke Cage. So, a like for Luke Cage, and for Iron Fist, I have to say, meh. Thank you for joining me. And if you like this video, please like it, subscribe, tell your friends about it. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers by the end of the month. And I'm up to 14. Yeah, I know, looking sad and lonely. So please go down in the comments section, guess what that line was of the day, what movie it was from, and subscribe and like, please. So I'm Nate, you're you, and as always, try to have fun, but keep it legal.